So we got a really cool episode today. A lot just happened 5 minutes before all this, and we're going to talk about that in today's episode of VAR on Air. My name is Anthony Lê, spells L-E. For those who don't know what Lê sounds like, look like, I spell L-E, and that's how to pronounce it. Lê as in legitimately your best friend in this journey, and let's go. I get to be a host one of a few times because we're going to be having new people showing up on VAR and Air who's going to lead you through our journey together in the video games community. So that's really exciting. Before we bring on our special guest today for our special Halloween episode, we have some COVID-19 updates for you all. First and foremost, guess what? Good news. Booster shots are available for all those who are eligible in Santa Clara County. So that means if you had Pfizer, Moderna, Johnson & Johnson, you're good to go. In particular, they have this kind of order in terms of eligibility or the priority. If you are 18 and over and you have the Johnson & Johnson vaccine about 2 months or more ago, you're good to go. If you had Pfizer or Moderna 6 months ago, you're good to go. If you're over 65, long-term care, if you're 50 and you have over 50, you have underlying conditions, or 18 even underlying condition, you're good to go. So get your booster shots, stay healthy. We want to make sure you are taken care of. Now, the fun piece right here. Oh, awesome. Phil, do you want to throw that on for that? People can take a quick look at that. Okay. So information is there for you all. Quick look. We'll have more resources. Check our website, check our Instagram, our newsletter. It is our best way to make sure that we help you stay informed what's going on. Now's the fun part. This is super exciting. And I'll tell you after I introduce our amazing friend of VAR. This person is the San Jose City Arts Commissioner. She's the author of Vietnamese, a novel about Vietnamese culture. Cool thing about this, like when I was growing up, I didn't feel like there was enough information about my culture. And so this person is filling that hole and gap in my childhood, right? And for a lot of people. She's also the founder of Chopsticks Alley, an online publication for young Vietnamese American, and Chopsticks Alley Eats, a food community consisting of over 3,000 members. She's also the executive artistic director for the Chopsticks Alley Art, an organization supporting Southeast Asian art and culture. She produces and hosts cultural shows for the community. She's also passionate about our youth, elders, and advocates for social change in our community. Can we all give a round of applause for Trami Nguyen? Hey, Trami.
Hey, thank you so much for having me and for that very generous introduction. Hello, VAR audience. Chào mi xin kính chào quý vị. So I'm happy to be here to join you in conversation about Halloween.
Awesome. By the way, folks, my Vietnamese is pretty bad, so I'm actually going to rely on Trami to help me out a lot throughout this process. And this is actually my version of learning too, okay? And I hope you all forgive me, but also give me the grace to learn, because one of my commitments being part of the Vietnamese American Roundtable is to learn how we can build bridges. And today, we're building bridges around storytelling, in particular spirits, but we'll talk more about that later. I didn't get to mention this earlier, but Trami, what's been going on? Tell us what you've been doing. I heard some amazing stories, and I think we want to share that with the audience before we jump into today's main topic.
What's going on with Chopsticks Alley, or what's going on with behind the scenes?
Ooh, I think it'd be really cool because Christmas is coming up, and with the supply chain disasters, I'm looking to maybe getting a gift for family. You have something like that you're working on?
Yes. I'm super excited to share about Chopsticks Alley's latest and greatest project. We just published a book called Art Venture Down the Mekong, and you can get it on Amazon. It's about 8 countries along the Mekong River. We share art and culture, history, and then we create little art projects to go along with each of the countries. So let's show our audience this video so they can kind of see what the book is all about. And I'm going to talk through to share with you a little bit about the book. So we invite our audience or readers to explore 8 different countries such as Myanmar, Laos, Thailand, and Cambodia, Vietnam, Malaysia, and the Philippines and Indonesia. So those are the 8 countries we're covering. And you learn a little bit about the culture, explore the history, and what's unique about the cultures as well from an Asian perspective, and of course the arts. And each chapter has an art, easy to make projects, and it's translated into Vietnamese. So cuốn sách này có dịch ra tiếng Việt nữa quý vị, tên là Adventure Down the Mekong. Mình có thể mua trên Amazon, không có cần nhiều mấy cái art supply rất là rẻ, và cho tất cả mọi người từ 8 tới 80 tuổi có thể đọc cuốn sách này. So anyone who's 8 to 80 years old can enjoy this book, and you can get it on Amazon. So we're super excited about that. And if you happen to see us out there in the world, then we also have copies on hand. But easy peasy on Amazon for $24.99.
Awesome. That's exciting. So I don't know what you all, I actually bought 3 already, and I asked Trami to sign that. So these are very valuable. So 1, thank you for sharing that with us. But 2, creating this, because like I said earlier, when I grew up, I didn't have this, right? And so there's a disconnect in like the culture. And now I find myself wanting to explore more, and I have nieces and goddaughters who are doing this. So I now can find a way to like teach them at the same time, learn about myself too. Seriously, thank you for doing that.
Thank you, and thank you for being so supportive. And we feature local artists in this book. So there were 8 of us who worked on this project, so not just me. So it's really nice to be able to feature Southeast Asian artists throughout this book. Yeah, you can find it on our website as well, on chopsticksalleyart.org, to find more and sign up on our newsletter. We also have art classes that will be starting at Gardner Community Center. We do both English and Vietnamese classes. Chopsticks Alley sẽ tổ chức ở Gardner Community Center những cái lớp dạy vẽ hay là điêu khắc đủ thứ hết, coi như là những lớp nghệ thuật ở Gardner Community Center cuối năm nay. Nếu mà quý vị lên chopsticksalleyart.org thì mình có thể xem những cái tin tức mới của Chopsticks Alley.
I am surprised I understood that in Vietnamese. So my Vietnamese is not that bad.
No.
But okay, so we kept on saying the word Chopsticks Alley, Chopsticks Alley. Before we jump in, can you talk more about Chopstick Alley and why did that? What is that about?
Yeah, we started out as a Facebook food group. So Chopsticks Alley, it's all about sharing Asian food. So if you go on Facebook, find Chopsticks Alley Eats, you'll be able to share all your Asian recipes and restaurants and places that you want to go. So that's the name where it started. And then we started the publication because we saw that there's a lack of Vietnamese American voice in mainstream, right? Where it's in English and it's really dedicated towards our narrative and the topics that we're interested in. As far as our elders, they did such a good job with Vietnamese media and TV, but I feel like this generation were kind of left over in between, right? The in-betweeners. Yeah. Chopsticks Alley, chopsticksalley.com là một cái website mà những người trẻ ở bên Mỹ nói tiếng Anh không rành tiếng Việt lắm có thể in những chuyện, những cái topic mà họ thích nghe hay là thích đọc. Đó, chopsticksalley.com có cái publication đó cho những người trẻ, tại vì các cô chú lớn tuổi đó có làm ra rất có nhiều radio với lại magazine với TV đủ thứ hết cho cộng đồng Việt, nhưng có những người như Anthony Lê với lại Trami đó sống ở bên này lúc còn nhỏ, thành ra tiếng Việt cũng không giỏi lắm. Tiếng Anh thì rất là good, nhưng mà cảm thấy như là mình không có một cái chỗ để mà mình share những cái chuyện mà mình muốn đọc, phải không? Thành ra cái chopsticksalley.com là để cho thế hệ trẻ hơn coi như là từ Trà My trở xuống.
Oh, I just also caught something. It's Jami, is that right?
Yes.
I've been calling Trami. Oh my goodness, I feel no more embarrassed.
No, do not, because we live in America and we have to, this is what my name has evolved into, and I'm okay with that.
Okay. Thank you for your grace on that one. Now, can we switch over to the Halloween theme? Because I'm getting really
Yes,
excited.
me too. Okay, so quý vị, I have to say in Vietnamese first. Trà My rất là thích phim ma, kể chuyện ma, coi phim ma, đủ thứ hết. Nhưng mỗi lần mà Trà My muốn kể chuyện ma trên online như thế này đó là biết bao nhiêu bị kỹ thuật bị trục trặc, không hiểu tại sao lần nào cũng bị. Trà My cũng nói với lại Anthony Lê trước rồi là nếu mà mình nói kể chuyện ma đó, nhớ nha, Trà My nói trước rồi đó, sẽ có bị trục trặc kỹ thuật. So what I said was, you know, I love sharing ghost stories, watch scary movies, all that. But every time I tell ghost stories on any type of social media or media platform, there's some kind of mishap that happens. And I've warned Anthony about it, and so he still wants to do it. And so what happened, Anthony, right before we started to go live?
Oh, you're gonna love this. Within an hour before this, my MacBook crashed. It just completely shut down. All I did was just updating. So we're thinking, okay, maybe it's an update software. Nope, that crashed. Logged online. Let's see here. Our audio started messing up, right? We never have audio problems. We're getting echo. We're sounding distorted. I think there is some kind of spirit with us or something, distorting our audio. We switch out microphones. We switch out headphones. We actually started recording, and then my audio cut out, and we had to log on back. And so now I was like getting like sage and like incense and just going around my room just so that we can get through. We're aiming for 30 minutes just for you all, and we're like, oh my goodness, can we last 30 minutes, survive that 30 minutes? Can we survive that 30 minutes? This is like a horror story, 30 minutes.
Right, that in itself is a horror story. But yes, we will. Tại vì hôm nay á, Trà My sẽ không kể chuyện ma, nhưng sẽ chia sẻ với quý vị những cái gọi là văn hóa của Việt Nam khác Mỹ như thế nào lúc mà mình nghĩ đến ma hay là hồn vía. So today, because of this fear that I have, I'm not going to tell any ghost stories. I'm just going to share the Vietnamese culture's perspective on ghosts and spirits as compared to American perspective. So that's, you know, more of a positive spin, if you will. So I pray to the ghosts and the spirits to not cut us off.
Let me light some more candles and like some crystals and pray to the multiple gods in this house. Whatever that may be. Yes, I actually have a sage. Like, I'm not superstitious, not at all.
No, not at all. Not at all.
Not at all.
I have like, you know, essential oils just ready to ward off, like frankincense, you know, you gotta have these things.
If it doesn't work, I might borrow that from you later on.
Okay.
So, and for the audience, right, one of the reasons why we want to bring Trami on is because she knows her history and stories around ghosts, and she did such a great job last year, and we have to bring her on, right? We got to do collaboration, but we also honor the spirits because we don't want any bad mojo, voodoo, whatever on us right before Halloween.
That's right. So should I get started?
Yes, please take it away. I might have questions too, so like,
please
lead us.
All right, jump in anytime. All right. So here's a significant difference I see when it comes to the belief in ghosts and spirits. In the American culture, when you think of ghosts and spirits, it's usually a negative connotation, right? Something scary, something bad's gonna happen. They're here to haunt you, scare you. But in the Vietnamese culture, it's different. You know, when we talk about ma hay là hồn vía, đúng có những cái mà gọi là scary, right? So for Vietnamese, yes, there's some scary stuff too, but the majority, it's about honoring our ancestry, really, right? Có đạo ông bà, that's what we call in Vietnamese, đạo ông bà. So when we, you know, in every Vietnamese home, there's an altar where we have our, you know, elders and family members who have passed on, and we would remember them once a year during their death anniversary, right? So there's this more of a positive feeling when we think about our ancestors and who have passed, right? So they're there to bless us, and every year when it comes to Tet, right, we think of them, or weddings, we think of them, we're always asking them for a blessing. So when it comes to ghosts and spirits are here to bless us as far as family members go, right? So I'll speak Vietnamese now. Thì đối với người Việt Nam của mình đó, có coi như là đạo ông bà thì mình ông bà đến để mà giúp đỡ mình, hay là mình cần gì mình khấn ông bà đó có để mà I forget the term in Vietnamese, nhưng mà coi như là cầu những cái gì tốt cho mình, right? Còn đối với người Mỹ đó thì ma là phải sợ, rồi ma đến để mà dọa mình hay là làm cái gì mình. Đó là hai cái sự khác biệt mà Trà My thấy trong hai cái văn hóa khác nhau, mà không phải Việt Nam không, mà nói chung là Đông Nam Á hay trong phải không, Đông Nam Á, Southeast Asia, mình tin là ma hay là hồn vía không có nghĩa là lúc nào cũng là sợ, mà có những cái tốt trong đó. So that's a difference in belief right there.
That's awesome. So my dad passed away this past year, bless his soul. So now I don't have to worry about him coming back to haunt me. I could just actually looking forward to see him and ask him for blessing, is what you're saying.
Absolutely. I don't know if you can see him or not, but he's there, right? And I think it would be rare to find a Vietnamese person that does not believe in spirit or ghosts, as compared to finding one that believes in them. I think the majority of Vietnamese believe, they believe that spirits exist, right? Same with in the American culture, it's more difficult to find someone who believes in ghosts than the opposite, right? But yeah, so your dad is there. You just confident knowing he's there to support and egging you on, and probably warding away all the bad evils that are happening right now with all your mojo technology issues.
Maybe I don't know. No, I think it's funny because you were saying like American people may not believe in ghosts. I believe they probably just are in denial. They just don't want to believe it.
Right?
I mean, their ghost scares people and try to kill people, right? Our ghosts try to love us.
Yeah, that's the difference. And I think that if they were to switch their narrative, it would be different. If passing on, and that's the other thing for us, right, for Vietnamese, passing on is just you moving on to another world. It doesn't mean you're gone. Where in the American culture, you're gone forever. And there's a big difference in the belief system, right? Thành ra đối với người Việt Nam mình á, khi nào mà người ta chết á, không có nghĩa là người ta đi luôn, người ta chỉ là khuất mắt thôi, không còn ở đây, nhưng mà họ vẫn sống một cái đời sống khác ở một cái giới khác. Còn đối với người Mỹ đó, chết là hết, chết là xong. Thành ra có thể vì vậy đối với người Mỹ họ sợ chết hơn là người Á Đông. Người Việt Nam mình chưa chắc là sợ chết, chỉ là thắc mắc không biết sau đó có gì thôi. Mà cho người sống sót lại á, thì mình nghĩ là người mà vừa mới mất đó, họ đi cái cõi khác, về sau mình sẽ gặp lại họ. Thành ra cái cảm giác đó nó làm cho mình, nó an ủi mình hơn, right? So when you think about being able to see your loved ones again in another world, it doesn't feel as bad, it doesn't feel as final. And so when it comes to mourning, it's a different way of mourning as compared to the American way of doing it.
Oh, so now we're talking about mourning. I'm really curious about traditions. So I know, actually, my brother and sisters, they didn't know about this, right? I told them this past year, like, out of 100 days, right, we should do some kind of celebration, some kind of feast for our dad, right? And this is actually what I learned from other Vietnamese folks. And so, what other traditions are there? And should we be doing that during Halloween or a little after Halloween? Because now like Halloween's like taking a different vibe now for me all of a sudden.
Right. So no, don't do it around Halloween. It's not, but here's something I find interesting. The cartoon called Coco, for the, Latino culture. It's a Disney movie.
Yes.
Right? So they believe, around Halloween is the Day of the Dead, right? Dia de los Muertos. So they have very similar belief to the Vietnamese system, in that you have to remember the people, you have to have the altar, you have their picture, you remember them. So with Vietnamese, it's the same. When you burn an incense for your dad, when you remember your dad during his birthday or death anniversary, it's a good thing. You're keeping him alive in a sense, but also sending him good wishes. So it works both ways. You're saying to the gods, if you will, we love this man, so we want to pray for him, for his soul, so please spare him. And then in return, he gives you blessings or help you out when you're in a jam, right? So it's a lovely way of thinking of how we still connect with those who have passed. And yes, there are some other traditions. So when someone passes away, if you notice, the elders may put some rice in their mouth and maybe even some gold. So the idea of that is so that it helps them in their journey in the next, when they go into that port to get on the boat that will take them to the next world, they now have some food and then some pocket money in case they have to pay people off, you know, because in the Vietnamese culture, you gotta pay people off.
Check though. Keep that in mind when I go to Vietnam or when I pass away. Got it.
Yes, yes, it's very important to do. Trà My vừa mới chia sẻ là khi nào mà đối với người Việt Nam mình, khi nào mà ai mất đó thì thường thường mấy cụ hay là mấy bác á, nhớ là bỏ một chút gạo hay là một chút vàng hay là tiền hay là những cái đồng tiền đó bỏ vô miệng của người vừa mới mất, để mà cái đó là lúc mà họ đi qua cái cõi khác, họ có tiền dắt túi, phải không, với lại một chút đồ ăn để mà đừng có đói lúc mà họ đi đường từ cõi này đến cõi khác. So for people who have no one to think of them when they pass, in the Vietnamese culture, that's very bad. Like, it's a very sad, detrimental to that soul. They become ma đói, right? Or hungry ghosts. That's why we have Hungry Ghost Festival around July. So yeah, and when we do that, we worship not only our own ancestors, but you see, Anthony, some families would go outside and burn incense and have treats also outside. And it's for those hungry ghosts who have no one to claim them. So going back to that Coco story, if you don't remember your ancestors or people that you love who have passed, they become these hungry ghosts. And so you don't want that. You want your dad to be full and not hungry, okay? So, burn some incense, cook some chicken, send it his way.
Yeah, I haven't been a good son/grandson for a lot of my elders, so I might have to go back and go feed some of my past ancestors now.
Yes, it's a good thing to do.
That's pretty awesome, because not only that, I mean, I love and appreciate what you're showing and teaching me about our culture. I love the fact that you're seeing similarities with like the Spanish, Mexican culture, the Latinx culture too. So that's like, wow. So there's a lot of similarities in how we see spirits.
Absolutely. Yeah, and I love sharing these commonalities because that's what makes us connect. I mean, really, here we are, right, in San Jose, where VAR is located, Little Saigon. We live right next to the Mexican community, yet can I say it? There's so much prejudice that we have, right? I mean, I really want us to change the way we view things, because we all have the same struggles, right? We all understand what it's like to be an immigrant or refugee. We all have been there, and they have a hard life, and so do we. And if we could help each other instead of fight against each other, if we want something good for the community, if we all come together, talk to the city, the county, the state, it's so much stronger. So I hope that this little connection to Coco, the movie, and the Vietnamese culture, just when it comes to death and how we worship, our ancestors and recognize the spirits, that we can come together. Yeah.
I love that. I really like that. Because I think this is the spirit of what VAR and Air is really about, right? It's like not just building bridges between like the younger generation, older generation, right? But also a foundation so that we could build community in the San Jose and the greater community around that and beyond. So, that resonated with me, and I really appreciate you sharing that.
Yeah, and I love you say beyond, not just here in this plane, but beyond the other plane too, right?
I don't know if that was intentional. I think that was more beyond San Jose. Like, I'm thinking like Orange County, but now I guess we talk about spiritual beyond. That makes sense. Oh, yeah. Are you sure you're not the one inviting the ghosts and the spirits messing us up?
Well, you never know. But here's something I don't know if you're aware of. I just did research for this show, right? In Vietnamese, there's an expression, ba hồn bảy vía. So that means 3 souls, 7. Via is a really hard to explain word. It just means heart, mind, and soul. Okay. So what makes up a person is you have a soul And men have 7 via, 7 heart, mind, and soul. Okay. And women start off as having 7, but as soon as they get married and have children, they have 9. So the via helps you, it makes up who you are. So the soul is just this entity, but you also need via. Via makes up who you are as a person. Okay. So that's what we believe. We believe in not only the spirit, the soul, but there's heart and spirit inside as well. So, yeah, that's something that I was like, that's right. I hear the expression all the time. Or when your mom is scared or something, you're gonna hear it. If you scare somebody and they're like, hết hồn, làm mất vía luôn, or something like that. They always say these expressions. It means like, right? That's what it means. Like,
yes.
Right? You made me, my spirit and my heart and soul escape my body because I was so scared, right? So there are these expressions. Yeah. And I'm sure it's all based on Buddhist belief, but I'm not going to go into that because I don't really know it.
Well, I mean, I grew up Catholic. I've done a lot of spiritual work. I've just stepped away and just like explore with everything else, and it just resonated with a lot of other culture, right? Like people talk about there's different essence and parts of your soul, and that actually makes sense why we can also feel spirits that move on beyond this life because they're still here. And that actually makes sense. I'm just seeing like my lights like in my head, just like connecting so many like truths all of a sudden.
Yeah. So here's a very sad part about our belief system that I don't know how to fix, right? So because we believe that when you pass, you need to have a body to be buried completely, like whole, in order for you to, when you move on to the next life, you're whole, right? So during the French colonial time, the French knew of this belief. So what they would do is if you fight against them, they would kill you and cut up your body or cut up your head and not give your family back the entire body. Knowing that that's so wrong on so many levels to do that to a person and a body and to the family is devastating because that person who died can never be whole ever again based on our belief system. So carrying on, fast forward to the Vietnam War, and you know how many people died without really knowing who they are, right? They have like the Tomb of Lost Soldiers, these type of things in Vietnam. So the families who never are able to claim the body of their loved one who was in the war, they are still suffering today because of this belief system.
Oh.
Right? So even today, there's still efforts made by different organizations to try to still find the body of loved ones and reunite them, bury them properly. There's still these efforts, even though I'm like, how do you determine whose body it is at this point? But they're still trying because it is that important to do. And so the Vietnam War not only left a bunch of, devastation that we all know about, but this is another level of devastation. So the person who died, whose body cannot be found or who's missing limbs, their family who's alive can never have peace knowing they could not get all the pieces together for this dead person. It's the pain goes on, right?
Yeah.
Sit on that for a little bit.
Yes, well, because we're hitting the time boundary really soon, right? And what you sparked inside of me, I think this is something we gotta definitely, maybe we'll bring this back, right? Right? We'd love to have you back in the future. We're talking about how do we do these traditions, and I'm wondering if there's a way we can incorporate a little bit modern ideals, right? Because if I learned a lot about we're energy, right? Spirit's also part of energy, the soul's energy, and there's some kind of resonance with each of our souls. And so ways that we can, as a younger generation, to honor those who passed, and finding ways, right? For example, providing food, right? And making that as a part of a celebration, and then also recognizing that in hopes that we do this, that the gods can bring these souls back into a whole piece and they could be happy again.
Yeah, I love that idea. I think that's great. Why not? I think, why not have an altar for these soldiers or the people who pass, and not just soldiers, there are lots of families too, right, during the Vietnam War who died of horrible deaths. That's the other thing. It's not you need to have a good death. It's very important to have a good death and a full intact body. Okay, I'm just saying. That's why. One last thing. That's why when it comes to donation of your body parts, whatever it's called on your, on your driver's license when you become a donor, many aged Vietnamese people don't say yes because it's against our belief system.
Oh.
Mm-hmm. Anyhow, on that note,
join us again as we
yes. Did you want me to translate real quick just to recap that? Yeah.
Yeah, definitely.
Okay.
Let's translate that, and then
all right,
we'll wrap it up and invite people.
Okay.
Like, hey, continue sticking with us for these more stories like this and more understanding of how our culture is and how do we move from there.
Yeah, sounds good.
So
Trà My vừa mới chia sẻ với lại Anthony với lại VAR đó là trong cái văn hóa của người Việt nữa, lúc mà mình mất á, hay là mình chết đi đó, thì cái xác của mình đó rất là quan trọng, và mình phải cần có đầu tóc tay chân, lại phải có đủ hết lúc mà mình chôn, thì cái người chết đó mới được sang cái cõi mới mà bắt đầu mới có đủ hết, right? Còn những người mà ví dụ thiếu cái này cái kia thì họ sẽ không có được hoàn tất, thì không có được tốt lúc mà họ đi qua cái cõi khác, hay là có thể cái hồn của họ sẽ không bao giờ được siêu thoát. Thì Trà My nói là cái mà chiến tranh Mỹ với Việt Nam á, có rất nhiều không phải là những cái suy nghĩ mà mình biết nhiều người bị mất này kia, ok, mà có thêm cái đó nữa là những cái gia đình mà họ không có kịp tìm được xác của người thân của mình, hay là cái xác nó không có được hoàn tất đó, thì những người đó họ vẫn buồn, họ vẫn không biết làm sao mà giải thoát được những cái đau khổ đó. Thì cái đó là trong cái văn hóa của người Việt mình bị. Người Mỹ thì họ không có rồi, bây giờ chết có xác hay không thì cũng vậy thôi, nhưng mà đối với người Việt cái chuyện đó rất là quan trọng. So there, I shared about the soldier. So that's all we have for now. Wait, I should end with a happy note. Okay, we should end with a happy note. Right? Yes, I think so.
It's an opportunity for us to come together to like bring back and like to honor the souls who come before us. I think that's happy though, but I'm also twisted sometimes and do that too.
Thì Anthony muốn nói là mình muốn là có những cái sự vui vẻ trước khi mà mình close cái show đó, thì VAR sẽ tổ chức một cái gì đó trong tương lai, right? Mà có thể là mình chấp nhận được là những người mà đã khuất mắt, mà mình sẽ tưởng nhớ đến họ một cách gì đó, thì VAR chưa biết, nhưng mà tại vì cái idea vừa mới ra đây thôi, thì Trà My chỉ muốn nói là nếu mà mình làm chuyện đó chắc cũng tốt, phải không quý vị? Mình nhớ đến những người mà khuất mắt để mà họ có thể siêu thoát. That's a good thing. Yeah.
Okay. Well, folks, that's all we have for today. I want to thank Trami for being here with us. I'm working on the name. I'm going to honor your Vietnamese name in the heritage. I'm going to do that.
Thank you.
And if I'm wrong, please correct me. But if you're watching this, make sure you hit up like Chopsticks Alley, their Facebook, their website, get their book. Trami, thank you so much for being here with us, teaching me so much about the culture, and now also inspiring me. It's like, how do we honor like the spiritual lives of so many people, and then incorporating our spiritual life too?
Yeah, we would love to be involved in that, I think. So when the time comes.
I have an idea already, like having a giant altar in Grand Century, and we come in and just allow people to come and just pay respect as a collective.
Yeah. But make it happen, Anthony. Yep.
Well, Philip's on the back end, who's doing all the tech work for us right now, right? So I'm not letting Philip off this episode without calling out his name. But yes, thank you so much. Any last words before we say our final send off?
I really appreciate VAR. From day one, when I first learned about VAR, when I moved to San Jose 7 years ago, I just really enjoy watching the work that you do, from connecting the elders to the younger community to the American community in a very effective way and respectful way. And I think that's magical, the fact that you guys are able to do that. So I've been watching, very jealous, okay, on how your organization's growing and stronger. And I'm also very proud. So thank you for inviting me to be a part of your show today.
Well, Jamie, keep on doing the amazing work you're doing, because I'm those Americanized Vietnamese who just find their way back to their culture and their mother tongue. So you're doing that work and building that bridge as well. So with that said, everyone, thank you so much. Send some love to Jamie, to Chopsticks Alley, and stick around. We have more great episodes moving on to into the next year as well. All right. Talk to
Bye,
y'all soon.
everybody.